Is this biological warfare or a childish provocation? Trash-filled balloons. It sounds ridiculous, but residents in South Korea living near the border with North Korea are being warned to watch out for rubbish falling from the sky and to stay indoors. Why? Well, because South Korea is accusing the North of sending balloons with plastic bags attached to them full of waste, including plastic bottles, batteries, shoe parts and what is believed to be faeces, although it is not clear if it's animal or human. Local media has reported that more than 260 balloons have so far been detected, and the military has urged people not to go near them. As a precaution, explosive clearance teams are recovering the balloons as they land. But why is this happening? Well, Richard Lloyd-Parry, Times Asia editor, says this is not out of the blue.
North and South Korea have, for quite a long time, had a habit of sending things to one another attached to balloons. Activists in the South, anti-North Korean activists in the South, have been doing this for years, and what they usually send over is rude pamphlets laughing at and mocking the Kim family dynasty, including Kim Jong-un. And also they send over, rather interestingly, they send over USB sticks that have embedded on them South Korean TV, South Korean news, South Korean dramas, films, and K-pop, all of which are banned in the North. And the idea is that by exposing North Koreans to to proper news rather than the propaganda that they're fed, this will help to undermine the regime. Now, the North Koreans hate that. They hate having their leader mocked. And so in their own terms, they have responded to this kind of propagandistic filth from the South with literal filth of their own.
For decades, North Korea has been almost completely closed off from the rest of the world. There is tight control over what information gets in or out. So things like movies and books, not just from South Korea, are banned, and those who have escaped the country say those caught with foreign contraband often face severe punishment. Earlier this year, a South Korean research group released footage that it claimed showed North Korean teenagers sentenced to hard labour for watching and distributing K-dramas. The latest round of balloons probably shouldn't come as a surprise though, because the North Korean Defence Vice Minister warned that something exactly like this would happen. He said, Tit-for-tat action will be also taken against frequent scattering of leaflets and other rubbish. Mounds of waste paper and filth will soon be scattered over the border. In South Korea, sending balloons like this was actually criminalised in 2021 after Pyongyang expressed its anger over the leaflets by blowing up an inter-Korean liaison office in a North Korean border town. But it was revoked in 2023 after a court said it was an excessive restriction on free speech. The latest influx of balloons has been condemned by the South Korean military, saying that North Korea's act is a clear violation of international law. They said it seriously threatens the safety of our people. North Korea is entirely liable for what happened due to the balloons, and we sternly warn North Korea to immediately stop this inhumane and crass action. Now, the two countries are still technically at war. Although the conflict between the two sides ended in 1953 with an armistice agreement, no peace treaty was signed. Since then, relations between the neighbours have alternated between engagement, estrangement and even conflict. In 2010, North Korea sunk a South Korean warship near the sea border. Tensions over the maritime border then led to North Korea firing dozens of artillery shells at a South Korean island, which killed 2 soldiers and injured civilians. While both sides say they want eventual unification of the peninsula, the prospects for a diplomatic breakthrough doesn't seem to be on the cards. Under Kim Jong-un, North Korea has continued to defy international sanctions to develop nuclear weapons. They say it's for self-defence and currently show no signs of planning to stop. And the latest balloon incident comes amid heightened tensions between the two Koreas. But should Koreans be worried?
This certainly doesn't qualify, I think, as a military attack. It's what you might call, I suppose, grey zone warfare, psychological warfare. It's certainly better than, lobbing missiles across the border, which has happened in the past. But what it shows, and many other things show it as well, is that relations between the North and South, I mean, North Korea's relations with everyone but its allies, Russia and China, are really pretty much as bad as they have ever been. I mean, people will remember it's not all that long ago that Donald Trump and the South Korean president were, shaking hands and hugging Kim Jong Un at this same border, back during that period of détente. That has all gone now, completely, and things are really very much in the deep freeze, and this is one more sign of that.
Both North and South are in a race to expand their surveillance capabilities, or spy satellites as many call them. South Korea plans to have 5 launched by the end of 2025. Meanwhile, North Korea attempted to put its second spy satellite into orbit recently, but it ended in failure after it exploded mid-air. They say they already have one in orbit, which they launched in 2023, and say it has transmitted imagery of key sites in the US, including the White House and the Pentagon, but have not released any photos of this. They plan to put another 4 into space in 2024, but their satellite launches are seen as a violation of United Nations sanctions, which was imposed on Pyongyang over its nuclear weapons program because they make use of banned ballistic missile technology. So back to propaganda balloons, or anti-propaganda balloons, however you view them. They look like they are here to stay. But experts say sending balloons are far less risky than taking overt military action, however ridiculous they sound.
The South's Joint Chief of Staff warned people to take cover, saying more are coming. Let's talk to Sung Yoon Lee, who's North Korea specialist at the Woodrow Wilson Center in Washington. Hello to you.
Hello.
Well, what do you think? It's certainly a disgusting form of dispute. What is going on?
It's a novelty. It's a pungent story, pardon me. North Korea has been railing against South Korean human rights activists sending leaflets into North Korea denouncing the regime, in addition to including in the balloons $1 bills, the Bible, bars of soap, pairs of socks, toothpaste, and so on. And North Korea is quite creative in now escalating physically and psychologically with, one presumes, inserting animal waste into their balloons bound for South Korea. And the supreme leader's very powerful and potty-mouthed sister issued a formal statement a few hours later, the dispatch of the balloon, saying that, oh, this is a sincere gift package, and it means that the North Korean people are exercising their universal freedom of speech, and there'll be a lot more coming your way. So it creates concerns, security concerns in South Korea, not only health concerns, but we know North Korea has stockpiles of biological and chemical weapons. So this is a prelude to further provocations to come.
Okay, well, that's a sort of worrying note to this story. But is it having is it having the required effect? Is it shaking up people in South Korea?
Well, I think the first reaction is just shock and disgust. But again, there'll be more coming, I'm sure, as the sister of Kim Jong-un has declared. And by, I think there'll be growing security concerns that North Korea will not only send excrement spread objects into South Korea, but also perhaps resort to a low-scale but perhaps a lethal attack on the South, as North Korea has in the past. It's an election year in the United States, and usually North Korea escalates, and that the intention there is to export insecurity and have the new US president, once taking office the following year, reflect upon the unpleasantness of the past, the insecurity of the past, and be more prone to making concessions when North Korea launches a fake charm offensive, a post-provocation peace ploy. They don't just escalate endlessly. They know when to dial it down as well.
So how might this escalate? You say we've seen something of the sort in the past. If North Korea takes to sending harmful material by balloon across the border, well, what would South Korea do? How might it retaliate?
Well, South Korea has fired at North Korean launched balloons in the past, not directly at them, but as a show of protest after informing the North Korean counterparts at what time we'll be firing shots along your way. So we can expect something like that, perhaps, but South Korea is very cautious in escalation. Obviously, South Korea, as a rich nation, as a democracy, has far more to lose in any even limited exchange of fire with North Korea. So South Korea has shown extraordinary self-restraint over the past decades, and North Korea basically knows it can get away with almost anything, walk away scot-free.